involving the double homicides in South Martin County on Orchard Street earlier this year. Last night sometime we went ahead and served arrest warrants on Mr. Harif, and with the idea that the hospital told us they'd be releasing him sometime today, and so we've charged him with 2 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count of attempted first-degree murder. We did that to get the room ready, to get him ready, to get the staff ready, and to begin the process of getting him out of the hospital and into our jail sometime today. Right now, as I understand it, he is still being processed by the hospital. He should be released into our custody shortly. Even though we effected the arrest in Palm Beach County on the warrants, he will not be going to their jail. He was booked what they call in absentia, and he will be coming straight to us by way of the U.S. Marshals Task Force by Martin County Sheriff's detectives that are on that task force. And that's really what we have on that. If you have any questions, I'd be glad to try to answer them.
Has he spoken?
The question is, has he spoken? No, he's not made any statements to us yet.
What's his status?
And the question is, what's his status insofar as his physical status? The hospital is releasing him. My understanding is that he will probably continue to need therapy. We've made it clear to the hospital that this is a jail. This is not a therapeutic place to be. We'll do the best we can. Of course, we have a medical unit. He'll be in our medical unit. But for the most part, he's coming here to jail and not for therapy. Janet, you had a question?
Yeah, how is he doing as far as medically? I mean, I know before he was having issues speaking or whatever. Do you have any reason to believe that he's going to be a burden on the taxpayers medically?
The question is, how's he doing physically? How's he doing medically? Will he be a burden on the taxpayers? We spend close to a couple $1 million a year on our medical contract. We have a private contractor that takes care of the jail medical needs for us. I suppose that because he's in medical, there will be some extra charges. We won't be able to put him into general population immediately. But at some point, when he's recovered enough, he'll be in our general population. He won't cost the taxpayers any more than what a regular inmate costs.
Have you spoken with the family of the victims, and what did they say if you did speak with them?
The question is, have we spoken with the families and the victims? Yes, we've been in constant contact with our female victims' mother and father. They've been very concerned that he hasn't been arrested yet. I'm hoping this will give them some measure of relief. As I've said from the very beginning, our arresting him prior to when it was absolutely necessary would have been an unnecessary burden on the taxpayers of Martin County. His medical bills have been his and his family's responsibility up until last night. But he has now officially been charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder, and he's in our custody.
What about toxicology tests?
What was your question, Jan?
What was in his blood? Anything?
The question on the toxicology, unfortunately, is yet to be determined. We know that the blood is being examined by the FBI in Quantico, Virginia. They're doing an analysis. You know, I know we keep getting that question on the blood work. I'm very interested. We are all very interested. You know, we're mystery solvers by nature. But frankly, for us, what drugs he may have been on, what his mental state was, is something that will have to be looked at by the jury, by the judge, by experts. As far as we're concerned, we made an arrest during a homicide in progress, and whatever drugs he had in his bloodstream will be of interest later during the trial.
When's the soonest detectives could start questioning him and talking to him?
The question is when of the soonest the detectives will be able to question him. The broad answer is that he probably is okay today to be interviewed. It's going to be up to him and his attorney whether he wants to give us a statement or not. That's still to be determined.
And how soon are you expecting him here?
The question is, how soon do we expect him? Well, he's at St. Mary's. You can imagine about 45 minutes of drive time. If it's another hour or so until he's out, it could be a couple hours.
And you have a detail of deputies that are bringing him in?
The question is, do we have a detail? Yes, we actually have several of our people there. I would like to say really the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office has been phenomenal. They sent their people in. As soon as we effected the arrest, they took over primary control of our suspect because of the jurisdiction. and they're there now with us, and our U.S. Marshals Task Force people are on the scene now, and so he's well attended by armed law enforcement.
Is he scheduled yet for first appearance?
Has he been scheduled for first appearance? The answer to that would probably be no.
No.
Sheriff, I think a lot of people with as long as he's been in the hospital have forgotten that he, you know, his father has made multiple pleas to the media. Yeah, he is not the victim here, right?
Janet, your question was, it's been a while since this happened, and the public, fill me in on the rest of that question?
The public has heard a lot from his father, from his family, you know,
His
begging
family.
for his mercy.
Right,
but,
right.
you know, the ultimate reality is what actually happened that night is he is not the victim.
Yeah, so Janet's question is, we've heard a lot from Harif's father and mother talking about mercy and getting him help. And yeah, but they're not the victims, obviously, and it was not their loved ones who were murdered. And we have heard precious little from the victims' families. They've been very cooperative, and I think they completely understand the magnitude, obviously, of the investigation and all we've done to try to stabilize Harif, stay in the hospital, not lose anything there, and not put a burden on our taxpayers. And thankfully, this all worked out, and we will have him in our custody right over there in the Martin County Jail sometime in the early afternoon today.
But do you find that frustrating, Sheriff, that a lot of pity has sort of gone towards the victim in this case, or how do you sort of balance that out with all the work your detectives had to do?
Janet's question is, do I find it frustrating that there's been so much talk about the offender in this case, and are my detectives frustrated? You know what? I do my best to be a gatherer of fact and to be an independent searcher for the truth, and that's really what we've done. I try not to get distracted with the nuances and the implications of families. You know, a father speaks in behalf of his son. No matter what a son does, the father remains the father. I can identify with that. But the true victims in this are the families of our two murder victims, and they're the ones that have my heart.
Has he had any, I mean, I'm not sure at what point in his hospitalization that he was told what he was there for, why he was there, what he's accused of doing. I don't know if I know he hasn't said anything, but has he had any reaction? Do you know at what point he was told about what he's accused of?
Megan's question is, do we have a reaction on when he was told what the implications of what he's done? I don't really have a comprehensive answer for that. I will be able to get a debriefing today from our detectives who transported him, and we'll maybe know a little more about his reaction.
So he has not yet left the hospital.
The question is, has he left the hospital? The answer is no. He's still in the hospital. We just spoke to our warrants detectives moments before I walked out here, and he's there finishing up what the hospital calls processing.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Okay, y'all, thank you very much.